Now, let's turn back the clock with Retro Week.
Bob Courtney was anchoring news on the radio in Baton Rouge when he learned about a job opportunity in TV news at WBRZ. He worked here at Channel 2 from 1974 to 1990, uncovering corruption, holding the powerful accountable.
The exact amounts, but it's around, from what I can gather, about $500,000. That's pretty serious business. How do you account for all of that?
I was hired to as a weekend anchor and 3-day-a-week reporter. But I loved reporting, so I pushed myself off the anchor desk into the field.
From the capital city's #1 news station, this is Eyewitness News, the Night Desk edition.
Most administrators agree that marijuana use on campus isn't the real problem. It's the actual trafficking of the drug on high school campuses. The use of nuclear power to generate electricity, like this facility here in Russellville, Arkansas. Over the years, courses have changed to meet the demands of a rapidly changing society.
Bob Courtney was pretty used to covering big stories.
And as a radio reporter, of course, probably the biggest story I ever covered was what happened on North Boulevard on January 10th of 1972. And 3 police officers, 2 Muslim protesters were killed. And then just a few months later at Southern University, 2 students were killed by police gunfire. Those were defining moments and big national stories.
Well, John, it's a capacity crowd here at the LSU Assembly Center as they await the arrival of presidential candidate Ronald Reagan.
Those defining moments kept coming at WBRZ, uncovering corruption.
Probably the biggest stories that had impact that I was involved in was with the investigative unit. We did the Barry Seal story. We did a story on the insurance commissioner, which ended up in the insurance commissioner going to prison. And then there were other stories like the Oakdale prison riot, which took place on the night of Buddy Romer's election as governor of Louisiana.
Some of those earning the prestigious DuPont Columbia Award.
And it seems that in this particular campaign, you're no longer the underdog.
Bob also covered many of Louisiana's governors, so I inquired about who he considered the most memorable or had the biggest character.
Well, you're going to probably be surprised, but I thought the most memorable character that I covered was John J. McKithen, who was the governor prior to Edwin Edwards that everybody talks about. And he was from North Louisiana. He was a big man, a big kind of a giant of a man. And his campaign slogan was, "Won't you hit me?" And he was governor for 2 terms. And then, of course, Edwin Edwards, who served 4 terms, was probably the most interesting political character I think I ever covered.
Governor Edwards says he has sent a telegram to President Carter requesting...
I don't think there'll ever be another politician in Louisiana like Edwin Edwards.
That's a look in brief at Edwin Edwards in his first 8 years in office. And of course,
he was remarkable in so many ways. Brilliant, quick-witted, and really always trying to, although he got known for some other things, I think he was always trying to find out the solution that helped people the most, as long as it helped him.
Live from the WBRZ Telecommunications Center in Baton Rouge, this is Eyewitness News.
This was probably one of the most interesting jobs I ever had, and I had a lot of them. You know, I was first assistant secretary of state for 5 years. I was in charge of renovating the old state capitol. I got to do a lot of great things. Started my own company. I've been doing a motorcycle travel show for 20 years. It's fun in a different way, but here was exciting, and I always felt like we were really doing something important. Really important.
These camps just a few moments ago, a lot of debris, crab traps and crawfish traps were blown across the roadway. And
striving for excellence, trying to get the story first, get it right, tell the truth, get the facts. That's kind of what we did, and I think that's still going on.
You see Bob Courtney there among a group of people you probably recognize in the WBRZ studio, where we faithfully bring you the news, weather, and sports every day. They are part of the legacy, celebrating the 70th anniversary of WBRZ, locally owned, locally loved.
And I think that it is good that we have a locally owned television station in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I don't think viewers realize just how important that is, because if you want to try to talk to the people at one of the other companies, you may have to make a phone call to another state, another city, and may never be able to talk to anyone. But right here, everybody's accessible. The Manships are still involved in this television station, and I think that's a good thing.
You know, as a viewer at that time, I just aspired to be like Bob Courtney, remarkable reporter.
Yeah, certainly a pioneer of not only broadcast journalism, but just investigative journalism as well. And yeah, I've looked up to him ever since I first met him when I was just a little guy.
Yeah, he's riding around on a motorcycle now across Louisiana.